what a perfect way to rehabilitate the government, the Army, law enforcement at all levels, because they're doing only what they're called to do in the safety and security of the people, and blah, blah, blah. And then he said, and of course, the FEMA camps that don't exist,
right.
Will be opened up and rehabilitated, because aren't you glad we've got those nice, safe, warm buildings that we can put all you folks in?
Yeah, and these are the ones that Glenn Beck said didn't exist, people, so just keep that in mind.
Well, that's right.
And then as well as that, folks, in your local area, think about the football stadiums, the megachurch grounds that could just be easily surrounded with razor wire, the basketball gymnasiums, the empty warehouses and factory buildings, and then at every prison, Greg, as you well know, the way they build them now, they have razor wire in about 3 strands. They'll have razor wire on the outside perimeter, then say 50 yards in a runway around the whole thing, and then another razor wire, and those can hold hundreds of thousands of additional people, in those prisons.
Well, that's correct, and of course, we're at that point where I guess I want to stop just a moment before I continue on with this report and say this is the time, folks, that as you've been listening to this and you've been just shaking your heads, look, if you have family, friends, some kind of relatives somewhere out of the area, if you are a coastal dwelling citizen right now, or you're in that area we're talking about, doesn't it make sense for you to sit down and make some plans and
Yes.
to call ahead and say, look, if the worst case happens, or even if the intermediate happens and we still have to leave the area for some time because the air is not safe to breathe, can we come with you? You see, Hawk, I would rather plot my way over county roads if I had to and avoid this monster that's going to engulf those highways, and say, look, I've got friends that have a church in northwest Arkansas, and we can go there because they've opened this up. I have friends right now, Hawk, that are in southern Missouri that are building an art community down there, and I'm very proud of these folks for doing it. And they said, we want to be available to help, and it was started before any of this. But that's the kind of thing I'm talking about, where you have the possibility, ladies and gentlemen, of going someplace that is not a refugee center, is not a FEMA camp, is not an enclosure in the middle of nowhere with pup tents that you're going to be sleeping in. Wouldn't it make sense to try and plan your destiny before it's planned for you?
And to make sure that you've got a weather eye, so to speak, as to when this is going down, and don't wait for the last minute. Just leave and come north while you can do it of your own volition, and you will not be herded along by foreign troops or well-meaning police or U.S. military.
That is correct. And of course, they're also talking, again, this is on the far edge of the worst-case scenario, but they're saying when vegetation begins to die, and when the crops fail, and when the orchards wither, and when the lakes, the freshwater lakes, cannot be used for emergency drinking, and even the wells now may be suffering
contamination. Yes, and if there was a hurricane right now, and incidentally there is a real nice little low pressure area that's just sitting down there, that somebody with the weather X-ray machines, the weather warfare machines, is holding that little low just down there nicely. That could be unleashed to blow a hurricane into the Gulf.
Now, I understand that they just were saying today that they're predicting, and of course predictions are predictions, but 14
this year, yes.
Even if you had just one or two, the damage, the exacerbated situation with the damage that could be done from the tidal surge and all the rest of it would just finish the job that's already well underway. So, again, we just simply want you to plan for what you must do. Look ahead in your jobs. Try and plan if you can take a leave of absence, not jeopardize your job, and have this plan to be put into effect. Well, try it. It may not make any difference. It may not
anything like that. Yes.
That's right, and schools, and of course schools getting out for the summer in most places, that is a blessing in a way. Just plan. That's all I'm saying. And Hawk, I guess at the risk of being faulted forever, I just have to tell you that I went to the website in the last 2 days, my website, the Heartland USA, and I asked my great webmaster. I said, we've got just such few things, but it was the DVDs on preparation and the 400-page manual. I said, lower the prices, get them right down virtually to cost, so that if people want them, they can get them, and they're cheaper. In most cases, it's 20, 25% cheaper. This is the
castle defense system, people.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. And it gives you everything you need to know. I'm not going to try and commercialize this, but I'm telling you there are tools there available for you. We've lowered the prices, and we want you to have them, because if you don't have a plan, this will help you make one. If you do have a plan, it'll help you carry it out. So please go there if you can. And we're having a camp, our first camp up here, Hawk, our infield training session. We got people coming from California, Oklahoma, Colorado. They've called, said, can I get in, please? I want to know what to do. So, folks, we're doing everything we can. I know Hawk and Steve are busy all the time trying to do the same thing. We've got great law enforcement officers out there and sheriffs who are, God bless them. They are doing their best, and so there's lots of help out there. But if you're ahead of the curve, you don't become a victim. If you're ahead of the curve, you may have a plan that will work, and you can get where you need to and find safety. I want to continue, Hawk, if I can.
Go right ahead. Let's give it straight and hard, brother.
Thank you. All of this, now, let's summarize here just a bit. All of this, then, accomplishes or begins to accomplish the national mobilization and relocation and redirection of America's financial, energy-dependent, political, and governmental entities, and the security-driven forces that have been constantly upgraded, trained, and prepared for what is coming.
And this will be nationwide, and also include Canada and Mexico as well, people.
This will be a tsunami that will go from border to border and coast to coast in terms of its effects, of the rolling thunder effect of how this will put America on its knees. It attempts to, I think, as I said before, rehabilitate the need for police and military presence all along the highways and byways, all the checkpoints and so forth, across the country, and even ground and air assets when you see foreign troops. In the worst-case scenario, when people are desperate enough, Hawk, desperate people, as I've said many times, do desperate things at desperate times. Prepared people do prepared things and get them done when they need them the most. If this catastrophe remains unchecked, my summation of this is, then long sought-after depopulation goals are well underway. Final control of a socialist/communist, or however you want to phrase it, entity in Washington has been achieved. Governmental control at the price of the Americans' citizens' freedom is finally accomplished. And it'll be basically, if this continues, without firing a shot. The only response will be get out of the way and hunker down.
Yes, and it's all under the wonderful guise of an actual disaster, which will have real danger, people. And you heard, I believe, the Lucy Joker Tut was quoted as saying, we're going to keep our boot on the throat of BP. He really meant we're going to put our boot on the throat of you.
That is correct. The American people, you see, BP is just a means to an end, and they've used it well.
Yes.
And these Lucy Jokers are absolutely the most evil, vile, wicked, hybrid, lizard-oriented kinds of people that you'll ever encounter in your lifetime, in 100 lifetimes.
And most of our friends couldn't even conceive of the evil that these people have.
That is correct. And Hawk, I guess, you and I talk about it all the time off air, but when people understand, I think most people that are listening do, but when they see that this is the culmination of the ultimate battle between God and Satan, and that the players in this are people who have sought riches and glory in this life without ever thinking about the afterlife and what they'll be held accountable for. That's why I have great joy and great hope, Hawk, in knowing that Jesus, my Savior, will prevail, and that there's
power in the blood of Jesus, people.